Yeah, all working. I never do that for mic test. That's literally the only reason why I ever do that, and it's become just kind of a comical thing I will do every time I start streams now. Because it entertains and amuses me, and that is the only reason to do it, is to amuse myself. Hopefully everything is working correctly. Keyword hopefully, I will keep my eye on it. We're doing like we normally do, a bit of co-op play. Actually, no, we'll do a bit of because I don't actually think I named this chat co-op play ever. I've actually named it just a standard live stream. Why not? Let's just go with a quick versus match, because let's see how bad of a player I am when it comes to playing against actual human beings rather than AI, who I clearly have my issues with. Oh. But no. Hey presto, I say. I jump on and do some co-op play in a little bit, but that will be in a little bit of time. I clearly need to get fancy thumbnails on my videos and people will actually click on them. Yeah, let's run it. I'll regret this instantly, but you know, whatever. Put it on burst. Right, this should be an entertaining mess of a scenario to run into. What do I say? Oh, my computer's going to have a hissy fit in it. Sure. Yeah, that shows how good of a player I am. I instantly die, instantly, without even fucking seeing the enemy. Close that. Yeah, I'm playing very sloppily. Just turn that down a bit for my hearing. Ooh. Ooh. It's an M4, but they've took the front iron post off it, which does look real nice. Nice. Ooh, nice try. This should be an interesting turn of events, to say the least. Lots of people with mics, lots of nada. Wow. Welcome to rooms with microphones. Wow. The online space of insurgency. Toxicity to attempt the Guerrero. You just got to kind of laugh it off, because it's like, yeah. Let's not even go near that subject matter, because it is like a fucking hot poker. A hot poker. No one can ever be right on either side of the argument, because both sides of the argument have their reasoning, and you're trying to argue with people with slightly irrational mentality towards certain problems, and that presents a wee bit of a problem. But the debate about Israel, I feel, is not the appropriate subject matter to bring up, because no matter which side you argue, you're going to have a lot of very strong opinions on both sides of the argument, which then equals up with neither party really getting anywhere with it. So rather than let's go there, let's just stay away from it. Alright. I'll have a plan to stream this, and I come into the room in the most offensive lot of arseholes. Fucking love it. Oh, I'm already getting shot up. Not good. Let's not even get into the subject matter of... And I've been rackled. Oh my god. Oh my god, the waterman incineries! And a burst, so I'm going to have to utilise it. I am so likely to get killed here. I am so likely to get rackled. And I just got rackled by a sniper sitting on the really far right, which is nothing new. Even though we do have two friendlies right in that position, who are probably going to go and rackle him in a minute. Oh, hey. I'm so glad we're not in a Christian server here. I think we'd have had a heartbreak. I'm so glad I put adult levels on my videos because it's like, oh right. Usually on my videos are quite like toned down, and I swear like a fucking sailor, as you can tell. This is just like welcome for the 12-year-old fucking Call of Duty lobbies again. It's like, oh fuck me. Yeah, and I want him dead. Oh, God knows what that's... whoever that is. Hey, you're not shooting them! You have a sniper rifle! Why did you not shoot them with your special needs kit on? Right, time to make a run. Run, 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 run! I am bulletproof! I am bulletproof! I am bulletproof! I am fucking bulletproof! I see you, you son of a bitch! Behind rock. There we go. Tell you, I'm bulletproof. With my 9mm suppressed weapon, which is useless in these... But on semi-automatic. Ah, oh, jeez. How the hell am I meant to do this? And then I get shot from the... Oh my god, I can't get near it because the left side's been dominated by the enemy who are not being dealt with by our friendlies. The right side's got a lot of snipers on. It's just, I hate this map because it is so imbalanced. Oh, we've got a helo coming in. This is our lots. Pop some effing smoke grenades. Yeah, I fucking popped them myself. Full auto, move, 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 move. RPG's going in on. And I get shot from the right by the SDV guy again. Because they've got guys on both sides camping it, and I can't get anywhere near the bloody thing because constant enemies on one or the other side. It's like you can't get fucking close. I can't get close to the SVD guy because the guys on the left are covering him. You get close to the guy on the left, you try to get close to the guy on the right, the guy on the left kills. It's like it's 2-pin fucking defense with a load of open ground. This map is so poorly designed. It's not funny. It's really infuriating, and it annoys me because it's like it's so fucking one-sided as in all sense of the word. And it's like I want this guy dead because I know he's round here. I'm fed up of him getting sniper kills. Going, oh look at me, I'm in a position because every time he's got somebody covering his ass. How the hell do you kill somebody who's constantly got people covering one another? You've got such a massive disadvantage, and it's like, well, by the time you get the fucking area cleared and you get somebody to clear it off and shoot them all off like that, they've already respawned it and reinforced it because that's the way the game works. It's so badly designed as a level. This is why I don't play the PvP stuff, because the PvE stuff, the maps aren't really what I call well designed for PvP. It's massively imbalanced match-wise. So you end up like a massively imbalanced fucking match to play, and it's like we've had to use Apache, a helo, mortars, and everything just to try to get up a fucking hill. It's like, yeah, this is not a good scenario to be in. And I've yet to get a kill just because I literally have only seen like 1 or 2 guys, and it's like every contact I've had is like over 100 meters away, up on a hilltop with a fucking optic looking down on me. So it's like, right, this is not a good situation to be in. Tactically wise, it's like, why the hell are you going up a rally up a hill to try to take a location is beyond me. This seems completely and utterly like, you know, a really bad idea in just all grand schemes of things. We've got this one guy across the way behind him. He just didn't notice him lying down behind the buildings. But we're going to get shot on the back. Oh, we got shot on the face. I don't think they can hear radio comms yet. Where is he? I can't even see who he is. Is that guy? Just mute him because I'm getting a little fed up of the offensive language just for the shits and giggles. And go, oh well, it's for funsies. It's funny. It's like, it's not really, mate. You're just being kind of a bit of a tosser, to be fair. So I'm not being. You kind of are though. There's no real ifs or buts about it. You are just being a fucking right old fucking tosser. Yeah, you want to kick him. So yeah, F1. Yeah. I've already F1, it's just not going away on mine. It's like, oh, for bloody sakes, I want to live him. Toxic fucking individual. Good riddance. This is how they show us how it's done now. We get fucking made a fucking joke of. We've got a guy coming the right, no one really coming far left. Yeah, it's been kit. Thank goodness. You can go cause his horrificness in another server somewhere else. I could have played fucking Breacher. I've just realised I have the MP5 anyway, but I don't think I can actually play Breacher. As I said, I really don't enjoy this map. It is massively imbalanced. It's a little bit less problematic when you're playing this side, but it is a map. It is massively one-sided, even though I did get a sight on him, and I'm playing like a complete and utter tosser. I will admit that I am playing appalling, and there is no excuse for my incompetence other than I am rather playing rather incompetently. Quick draw. No, I'm not really that fussed about that. Compensate. I don't really need any of these. I don't think I ever put the suppressor and it changes this one. So I'll just put an angle grip on it, reduce another recoil. But so the only thing I'd have wanted would have been an extended clip, to be honest. They're pushing left. And I'm being sniped, and I'm dead again. I hate this map, I say. We have no one doing counter sniping. Yeah, that says a lot. I'm not playing well, so I cannot blame others other than my own self and my incompetence. Been playing too much squad and not playing enough of this to get my practice and to get my play up. And jumping straight into an online PvP match is a little bit like throwing myself in the deep end with the game. So yeah, this is a fun match for me. You seem very salty. Yes, I am. Probably because I'm not enjoying the game. Because I'm not enjoying getting instant. I don't like games what tell me where I cannot stand or go. Because to me that's unrealistic. Because fuck you. Send me to die and stand in a firing range is a fucking way of an idiot, I say. Alright, I want to go here. Don't know how they're going to push this. So they're going to push the top right or top left. So it's me pushing this. I usually push the left because it's the even though it's a little bit more open. Got him. Little MP5 for the wins. Half clip left. That's fine. It's not finger. It's not squad. You don't have to cover the corpse. Make sure no one medics it. And that green car. Have I got a grenade? Nope, just smoke grenades. At least I've got two 9mm guns. So all my guns are using the same caliber, which is kind of handy. Don't believe that. I showed him 3 times. This is the problem with MP5, especially on cold PvP stuff, is that a little bit problematic at range. I think I might have got one of them then. Bollocks. I didn't. Yeah, they know I'm here. Oh, come on, put a gas mask on. God bloody damn it. And that smoke isn't even poisonous. What? Game mechanics. Why do you change the colour of the smoke randomly? That's a little bit dirty. Don't change from gas smoke to normal black smoke. It's a little bit on the dirty side when it comes to misintruding the information to myself. See, when you get rid of the one toxic player, all the mates go quiet because they're not listening to Mr. Toxic. And it just turns into directly in feeding comms, like information what's actually relevant. They've got that, so they can't take it as long as the guy's on it. It's the key factor there. Two down. That's not good. That means they're pushing round on us again. No joke. Oh, flipping helo. No, no, no. Get me. They've lost a wave, but they're pushing in again with a second. We've lost a wave, they're not lost a wave. No, we've got Bravo control for the time being, bar for the helo covering. One down. Yes, I know I'm being a bit of a dick, but they've got a helo up in the sky. I do not want to get racked by that helo. What? Oh! Bullocks, I say to that. Oh, flipping helo engaging as well. Instant fucking Hawkeye machine gun on the minigun. It's like, blighter. Oh, wait, it's more like it. Right, we're going to keep mooching forwards. Hopefully I don't get too fucking... Gas mask rack up. They've been gassed them. Yeah, somebody's just called shit in. They're trying their hardest to take this. We lost it. We didn't even get past to this fucking flag, so technically they're already winning this, which is a bit of a fucking nightmare. A team killing going on here, accidentally. Men. So it's a bad position to be in, but it's the best I can do situationally wise. I'm lining him to cover my staircase, I do. Didn't even hear that get chucked. I heard the scream grenade and I ran. But that thing was literally stuck to my ankle. We'll lose one more guy. We get at least another spawn in, hopefully. But I think we've actually won this one, looking at it. That's what's causing all the problems. Somebody's at least opening up on it, trying to take it out the sky. Like arms fire. Yeah, that'll do a lot to it. It might do if it's a few, like, the air intakes and shit on the engine or, you know. Oh, bollocks. That's ours, I think. But it's still. Yeah, thank God that was not being dropped on our guys then. But they've won this because they get to play defense next round, which means they've got a predominant advantage on this map. Right, it's charging. Well, my dogs are going Looney Tunes for some unusual reason. Bottom floor, rotten right, it's not good. Me and my really poor recoil management skills. And insta-killed. The M4 is seriously overpowered to hell. It really is. But I said the recoil on that though is insane. Even though I've got the grip on it. Which is a bit of a, not a problem, but it's a bit of a pain. I'm going to actually drop to a lower weight vest. Let's try putting on that. Which one of these is actually going to reduce the most? Vertical recoil is the problem. So I feel like that's actually going to do more good than that would do. And then just put like a quick grip on. Might be the better combination. Looking at it overall. So that might be a better loadout for this setup. But I might be wrong with that. Maybe I might be completely and utterly wrong with that. They've got like 1 or 2 guys left. If that. So that's a good start for us. Over there on Bravo's no longer on there. Whoever's the last guy's seriously hiding out somewhere. He's avoiding contact. Hopefully he's not being one of them players who's just like, I don't want to play, I'm just going to stay at the back and just like have his whole team watching him going, "Oh, you're not playing, mate. You're just like sitting back at the back going, oh, I can't be asked." No, you got record. No, it was that gentleman was being the complete arse, or the one that got kicked. Because one of them got kicked. He was just being fucking gobshite on the mic. I died a hell of a lot too much then. Way too much. But a running MP5's not me org, so. So I'm not giving myself a good chance in these situations. I do not want to play that map anymore. Most people are just going random. I actually not played that one. I actually click on that one because I haven't actually played that map in a PvP sense. I played a lot of the old ones. I have played a bit of PvP on it because as I said, my experience with the PvP in this has been not a good experience, to say the least. I truly do not enjoy the PvP, unfortunately. I wish I did. I really do wish I did, but I just don't. Also, I need to put thumbnails on my. Clearly, I need a thumbnail. So you got to put some effort in, put a thumbnail, and I'm like, I can't be arsed, but I need to, because clearly no one watches this unless there's a thumbnail. It's a thumbnail. You can a fancy thumbnail in high definition. This higher need quality, which is very very handy. So yeah, that's always an interesting one. Right, I am not going to. We're on a long range map, aren't we? Yeah. I've not got the org for this map. We attacking or defending? We're defending, aren't we? So I might as well actually go with Breacher. Run my MP5 again. For a little bit more giggles. They're going to be pushing from that side, so this should be a wonderful headache to deal with. Somebody's having a firefight with them, which is over there. Yeah, I hate when the game goes, you can't stand there, that's in the zone. It's like, game, if you're going to do that, why not just put a big giant checks to wall in front of me rather than just being like, you know, letting a player play the map. And you go, well, we don't need spawn camping. I get you don't want spawn camping. I can fully understand that. C camping in AK. Oh. But it's so infuriating for me because I'm like, you're forcing players into certain positions and you're forcing certain styles of play. And when you make the maps too narrow or too tight like they are on this, it infuriates me. Because to me, it's like, it suddenly becomes shoeboxed. You've shoeboxed the map and level, especially on a defensive map. It's like you're playing defense like this. It's like, all right, you can only go so far forwards. And I do understand there are parameters, landmine field, etc., blah blah blah. But it's not even that. It's like the game is just kind of like, it doesn't overextend them and make them run distance, and it's one of my pet peeves. It just really infuriates me because it breaks the kind of immersion into the game and the ability to play again. Because as soon as I hit that wall, which I always do every time, it just infuriates me. And it's just like, well, that was a waste of my fucking time. Oh, we know the popping smoke here, so that's a good start. Are they on alpha? Well, a little bit of cover here, but not a lot. I don't know if that was a misplacement of smoke or they were planning on pushing this side here. What concerns me is getting pushed on that right. No, they were. Every time my hesitation gets me killed because I'm watching targets and waiting for a clear shot. They have 5.56, so they don't have that issue. They can just pretty much open and light me up instantly. Problem with MP5s is that, yes, they are very, very good guns, but they use 9mm rounds, which means that they have very, very, very lackluster fucking stopping power, which when in a firefight with a 5.56 rifle is very problematic. Oh, someone's actually using the suppressed pistol. I don't say that often. He'd been shot in the back and I lit himself on fire with the other gentleman. Kind of what I call a bit of karma, that, in some ways. Why you should not shoot friendlies in the back while they're holding Molotov cocktails. Slightly problematic, is it not? Oh, way. The problem with this mode is I'm having to think a little bit more. I'm having to... Bloody hell, let me through. I'm having to actually think about how I play and how I do stuff because I'm just getting frustrated. So I'm not really getting that time to kind of nada like. Can we just? No, don't kill me. I've literally just spawned in game. Don't, please, don't. I don't want to ask much. I asked to at least get to play longer than about 3 minutes of fucking gameplay so I can actually play the game. Yeah, I'll push this left side, which means that there's still a lot of contacts around here, which is problematic. Yeah, my hesitation and my accuracy is appalling in this. I cannot excuse anything other than my bad shooting then. So what's annoying me more is just my reactions are so sloppy and slow because I've not been playing this kind of game. It's painful, it really is. So I'm having to kind of learn and think very quickly of how I'm going to actually outplay people with my old man fucking levels of reaction time. Oh. Well, that was a waste of fucking time. I was going to use the big 50 BMG, but I've not got one. Got an RPG man there. I don't want to be behind him in case he blows me up with his RPG. They're on the last wave, which means we're pretty much sitting pretty. They've done quite well. I've literally killed no one and just died many times, so I'm pretty much playing the NPC, the stupid NPC role. Oh, bugger off! No, there's no one on Alpha. He's down there. He's scanning down bowl. We're now pushing aggressively towards this last player who's camping. I think when they get to 0 waves, their spawn should become open to us just to clear it, because if they are camping back there, at least we should be able to at least deal with them. Oh, they actually made that the thing. Oh, thank God, game developers, you had some rationally good sense in you, so we could at least find the bloody camper. Where is he camping? Oh, we don't know he's at Alpha now. He's all the way back there, behind us. Run all the way back up the hill. Got him. That's my one kill, my one contribution to the match. Killing the one guy didn't matter. Yay! You're so bad. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm terrible at this game. And the problem is because I don't play PvP, I don't really have pre-established setup loadouts, because like normal loadouts, what I'd normally use. It's from micro on there, and a compensator, because yeah. Heavy armor, that's it. I really don't care for the compensator. I'd rather have a lot of fucking smoke grenades. I can't get any more smoke grenades. I really don't care for the Beretta. Extended clip maybe be worthwhile. Technical laser. I can't have can't have extended mag. I'll do. Run this as best I can in these scenarios. Quick load out of the AUG, because yep. How quickly do you think I'm gonna die? Well, let's put the bets down. A minute, 10 seconds. Let's find out. Let's see how bad I am. Of how predictable my movements are for the mass majority of players to figure out how to predict my movements. Woo! Yeah, somebody's got eyes on the big sign. Smoke. And of course they run in on the left side because I'm clearing my right side, and of course there's always one on the left side because you never cleared the left properly. And even if I did, the guy ran in and was on that fucking blind spot straight away. Oh, this is going to be a fun waste of my time. As I said, the right side was what they were pushing. I don't know if that's any better. Probably not. There'll probably be a marksman or something sitting there going, haha, look at me, I'm really good. I can sniper rifle people. And I'll just be like, go back to squad and go, yay, I know how these mechanics work. I've had lots of practice at them. Oh, second floor, of course. By the time I do spot him, it's an AK-74, so it's not AKM, but it's still effective enough to rackle me. Oh, game. You're not going to kill him? Oh, no, you can't kill him because you're in the spawn. Now you can. You want to turn around and shoot the guy, you're clearing that corner and then get set up. Nice. Yep. As I said, the parameters of the map are always one of those things that I know. That's partly what I like with the co-op stuff, is with the AI. As much as it has bullshit spawnings, at least in that it allows for effective... Ooh, somebody knew how to play. I'm making up for my levels of incompetence, so I'm glad to see that. Having smoke at me. I'm not anti having smoke lobbed at me. I didn't want to do that. I want to pop me other smoke. Okay, was the entrance into the basement there? Good. Yeah, left side, as I just cleared it. Forgot about that doorway. Oh, shoot him, please. Thank you. I am horrible at this. Really should say this. Horrible game flow of somebody who can't play in fucking Insurgency and is just crying. AI, easy enough to predict. I get to a point. That's the problem. I don't play enough of the co-ops. I don't learn the players' behaviour. We've got a Bushman. They've not lost their players. It's just we've got quite a few really good players on our side who are really kind of helping the handicapped players who can't play for balls, making up for their incompetence. So, yay! Just keep pushing forwards. Hopefully, we'll get somewhere. I might actually get to see one of the enemy for once and get to shoot at them. And even if I do, I can't. Oh, there was even a different guy who shot me. Wow. My shooting out. I'm gonna have to call it after this match and go and do some AI fighting, because the versus, as you can see, is I can't play. I'm really slopping slow on my shooting, and everything is appalling at the moment, and it really is appalling. I need to get some practice in if I want to do any of the versus stuff, and that's kind of the obvious take from this is I cannot play the versus. So I do a bit of the co-op play. I can handle AI speed levels of engagements, but I don't think we're actually. At the look of it, we're actually doing too well to be. Are we? Panicked then, thinking that was Emily. I was like, no, don't have another helo. I don't want to spend my match hiding. It's never a good time when you hide. No. Go through here. Hopefully not to have one camping in the corner and shooting the bar. There's friendly dead, which suggests that there's high probability of an enemy somewhere around here. Let him run through, let him be bait. Move through. Did I get him? Thank God I wear heavier body armour. Right, nicely done. Just need to kind of change my approach and slow down a bit and stop running around like an idiot. But even if I do that, I don't think that massively is going to help me, because playing against people who play this probably quite regularly and have very good experience of where to go, what positions to be in, and all the rest of it makes a massive difference to the way in which you approach these problems. I know where the light of the spawn is going to be coming down this way, so I'm just going to sit and wait to get some shots on some people. Told you. Wow! Wow! I really mean wow. If that was me, I would not have spotted me in that position where he was, because I would have been like going for the corners, and it would have been like, right, unless I was taking my time swoop corning. Jesus Christ, I am really showing my fucking incompetence. Do you not play games? No, I play squad most of the time and deal with like people being in bushes lying down and stuff like that. This is a little too fast paced for my little fucking brain nowadays. Oh, AI bomber. Where was it? Yeah, there. What do I do? I literally shot at the gentleman and I still missed. It fucking recoil pulls it off. He just goes, I got it, fucking perfect aim. But Nettle knows me and I got down and I'm just like, right, yeah. I'm going back to deal with AI. I can deal with AI. I'm going to have to put like about 20-30 hours of fucking fire practice into this to get my head around the gun mechanics again. Because clearly my gun mechanic training has gone to pop. So yeah, we'll do a bit of a co-op play, because I really can't do the PvP stuff, which explains why people, if you go, all right, why does not play PvP? Because I'm not very good at it. I don't like trying to do stuff I'm not very good at for streaming reasons because it's not very entertaining watching somebody just constantly smack their head into a brick wall. It gets a bit boring very quickly. Please give me my kill. It's a dead friend though. Yeah, are you going to show me where he was? Because even I can't. Oh, he was up there on that really sly angle. Jesus. I'm looking for an Emily, like an obvious Emily position. He's like at a really sly angle. I can't even see him unless I'm at the right angle myself. Jesus. Jesus, I'll say. As I said, we'll do a bit of co-op play because that is my forte. Which is what I'm usually quite much better at than dealing with PvP stuff because I've not played enough of this. Please tell me he shot him. Yeah, he did shoot him. I was about to say, if he's running around there and he had friends helping him run around getting shots, I'd be a little bit salty about that. A little wee salt. But no, we'll do a bit of the co-op play. Just run the ARG for the time being. But no, hey ho. As I say, we've still not took an Echo and we've lost about 2 to 3 waves just trying to take Echo, which is just insane by my opinion. And it's just basically a few odd ones of them running around like loons or hiding in really fucking awkward positions covering the objective, and that's it. It's like, Jesus crikey. It's a little bit problematic. We're pushing it now. We are about there now, unless they've got one guy camping somewhere. But really awkward, which I wouldn't put past the Emily. I'm running around with a hand grenade. Nice. But as I said, actually, let's see how bad I did. So we can see how bad. I died 11 times. I think I killed 3 people and got 1 assist. Yeah. That's horrifically bad by me. Just go and deal with some AI and get some actual fucking practice in before I jumping into a match of versus and going, yeah, that's yeah, no. Let's run that for giggles, might we? Hot potato should be an interesting one. Oh, don't put it on a night. I don't like night maps. Anything but a night map. Really, really do not enjoy night maps. Personal hatred of the night map. Should I run that? No, we're not running my favourite weapon in the game. We'll just run an MP5 with a always going to put it with suppressor, but I don't think I've got suppressor. Red dot on it. I'll put a red dot on it because I prefer the bigger optic, to be honest. And a Glock and a quick draw next in the clip. I don't know if there's any point putting heavier armour on. Flashbang, room clearance. Ooh, nice. Those grenades do take some time to go off, to say the least. Alright, so you get one respawn only once the objective's taken. That's fine by my standards. No, I've going on to actually be nattering about stuff rather than just trying to fucking think for once, because my brain is clearly on slow mode today. It's in sluggish mode. Been watching ended up watching on Netflix. It's about the Unabomber in America. I'm on episode 2, but I've got to watch episode 3. Really interesting. Really kind of. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, to be honest, because I'm a little bit funny with certain shows, like what I will and won't watch, because some shows, like the writing can be a bit like, just doesn't draw me in as as an individual. No, don't go over there. You're gonna get blown up by a grenade. Oh no, he must have got him in the head. Oh no, it didn't that time. Yeah, that's yeah. This is interesting. Single shot, headshots only. Right, that's fine with me. As we put on full auto because I want to get more into the hang of controlling recoil in this game. Jesus, I'm not going to get any practice in here. I wish when you shoot one of them, you don't have to worry about shooting them all, because the grenades will get them. Oh, yeah. As you can tell, my reactions are as sluggish as they come today. I am Mr. fucking slug reactions today. So that's not good. But no, I've been watched the first 2 episodes of it. Wasn't expecting to enjoy it, and I kind of was surprisingly kind of got myself into it, because I find it really fascinating. It's not so much guns and thriller. It's more about the psychology of the guy, and it is like psychological thriller. Really interesting to watch. And it's on Netflix. I don't know how many episodes there are and how long it's gonna go for. Nope, he dropped the grenade. Told you. Yeah, I don't think flicking my head out would be a bright idea at the moment. But no, it's basically taking on the bugger off. I get fair enough. I got shouting out. As I said, I am playing appalling today. But when looking at it's looking at the. I think it was. Words come to my brain, please. I want to use my brain. It would be awfully nice of you. My brain was working, but it's gone into potato mode. I've got mash for brains. The basically designing a profile is basically working on the profiles and using the getting a basically if somebody who's very good at profile identification, identifying the Unibomber. So they're basically coming in, building it. Oh, bad day for that gentleman. Identifying a profile for the Unibomber, and then from the making the profile and going, right, this is who the Unibomber is. We need to look for this kind of person. But it's not so much that, it's more kind of looking at the psychology behind the Unibomber, in a sense of like analysing. He's coming in, he's kind of gone, right, we've had half a dozen of these guys who come in and say, yeah, this is the profile, this is blah blah blah, and all the bureaucratic bollocks what comes along with it, and then a load of kind of commentary on that aspect, especially in regard to when they first came out, because a lot of it was like, no, we don't really want to do this psychology shit, because it's not really evidence, it's more like circumstantial fucking things, and it's mainly just used as kind of it's not really kind of investigation in the way that the old school mentality was of like evidence and finding the clues to thingy by looking for genetics and blah blah blah. So it wasn't like you were getting forensic information and all the rest of it. It was more like you're trying to make a puzzle piece of finding what the puzzle piece looks like, so you can find it first, rather than looking for the hints of where the breadcrumbs have been left for where were the actual. Oh. Rather than looking for those like circumstantial. So for the detectives, it's like great, you can possibly identify who it is, but taking to the court with that information is not technically really that useful. It's more like, well, it gives you a clue of where to look and who you're looking for to possibly go, right, these are the motivations, these are potential cock ups, so we can find the individual in that sense. MP5 out again, please. Which is really kind of, it's quite useful, especially in cold cases with serial killers or individuals who are very. Yeah, I don't know. I should have been dead in that situation. The only reason why I wasn't is the AI is merciful. But I don't know with blots. But because of that, profiling is quite useful, especially in the cases of trying to identify sociopaths and people who are mass murderers and people who've committed crimes like that. Usually, you'll see it where a detective will use a small amount of psychology to provide motivation and justify reasons of why the individual may have committed such crimes, and then use that as part of his evidence to say, right, this is the motivation for why they did it. Here's the actual evidence and reason for why that is, and build a story of a rational story to base the principles on what happened. I don't know what happens in real life detective work because unfortunately it's not really a subject matter I've really kind of delved into. At least not in great detail, and sitcoms and TVs can take some artistic liberties, may we say, in regard to matters. But profiling is a bit of a kind of it's a two. Is a two-edged sword in the sense that if you rely on it solely for right, if you solely rely on it, the problem you have is that if an individual knows what you're looking for from a profiler's point of view, they can manipulate the profile into misidentifying a target and intensely. Oh, yeah, that's because I picked up the MP5 again after dropping it. That's why. It can be used to manipulate the evidence circumstantially to try to mislead the investigation. I always remember this because I had an audiobook, and that was part of the story. Fantastic fucking audiobook. I really should look up the writer of them and get a load of their books because they were seriously good books. And the idea was it was following a ex squaddy who was he was part of the military police, so he was basically the guy who the military used to go, right, make sure squaddies aren't being an arse. He's the guy you call in and bring it in. I can't remember if he was American or a British squaddy. It's been very long since I've listened to it, and it was basically he was coming at it from like an old investigation mentality with the way the military do shit is kind of they're doing with a completely in a well whatever we'll use it because it's the Stan. They were looking at it from the point of view of like old school investigation. So he was working with an analyst, and the twist was the analyst was the actual criminal, the individual committing the crimes. But because they were the analyst in identifying cases, they could manipulate everything to kind of persuade that they weren't even looking for herself, because she was basically painting a picture of a different person with different motivations to get away with the crime she was committing. And it was like, wow. And basically because he came in and was doing old school investigation methods. He was able to catch her out by just looking at raw information and negating that of the pre-staged finger. Basically saying, right, let's not look for a person or an individual who may commit the crime based on a profile and profiling people who commit these crimes and their highly likelihood of who they may be and what they're like as people. Instead, let's go at it as a pure investigationist point of view, which is we'll look for the evidence, look at what's there, and then put together the actual evidential information available, rather than looking for circumstantial information in regard to the situation. So you kind of got a very much more kind of a traditionalist point of view on the matter. So he's not taking any kind of, oh, well, we're looking for this person, so this kind of cuts down the amount of people we're looking for. That in itself is the benefit of... Turn that up a bit. I don't know if they dropped the grenade, so I'm not going to run him. Yeah, there we go. But because of that, it kind of relied on that, and that was kind of the downfall of the analyst, because the analyst was just purely working on manipulating that side of the investigation, which then misled all the other investigators because they were too strongly relying on that part of the relevant information. Where the Unabomber is kind of the opposite way. Ow! Ow! Damn it! Why? I didn't even think about that. Me ain't being a Muppet, I'll say. I was a Muppet, I say. Let's remove the quick grip, because I find that when I add stuff like the quick grip and stuff, it actually does more harm than good. IED is quite useful, but I'd rather have a compensator. Because I think that might be a bit more useful. And then switch out the Beretta. Do I want to use the Beretta? Yeah, why not, for a compensator. But that's kind of the opposite approach, where you've got a really intelligent mass murderer who is getting away with crimes, and they've got so lack of, because you're dealing with something what's across America, so you're trying to deal with like a crime across the whole of Europe. Seriously a big amount of land, a lot of states, and he wasn't committing a crime in one state, he was moving around. So you're trying to piece together like consistent behaviour of cause and reason for it. It wasn't like the guy, for a lot of the investigators were going, well, we can't understand why he's doing this. He's just a fucking mental case. He's killing people. Right, how can we catch him? Well, he's got to be this idiot, he's just some nutter with a mad nutter who's angered at the world and blowing people up. Rather than looking at it more from a like, alright, this guy's not an idiot, he's a bit of a fucking ideologic fucking sociopath, he just wants to fucking break the world to fix the world, he's using violence to the means to get his voice heard. And as I said, I've only watched 2 episodes, I really kind of find it fascinating. So you kind of got you've got a load of investigators who aren't looking at it in the right frame of mind. They're looking at it like, this guy's an idiot, he's going to make a mistake, we're going to find something. And the mistakes he is making are more to do with identification of character. Like, this is what you're looking for. He's got OCD behavior in certain aspects. He does this, that, and the other, and these behavior patterns can lead to a habit. Can try to start linking up a habit to then make a predictable model to then identify your potential target. Which, might not seem like a big help, but when you're trying to catch a serial killer, if they have a specific kind of, let's say, taste in target, we've recently had something what was questionable if there was one in my area, which was, bloody hell. Yeah, the recoil's not as bad now. It's not pulling upwards now. I can actually control the recoil. It's just my shooting's so bad, it's like unreal. It's moves. Really got the bad shooting. I am playing appalling today, I will admit it. But it was kind of an interesting fact that, as I said, in my area there was one, was kind of, I don't know if it was just like rumour and people going, oh, there's an awful lot of people dying in our area, which is not usual for our area, but our area is constantly growing and getting bigger, and it's the symptom of an ever-growing town getting bigger. There's been a murder in the village. Yeah. But because you've got this ever-growing, but there was a consistent pattern of the kind of group of individuals getting hit, which was young men at the time between the ages of, I think it was 18 to 20 was the range so far. I'll get them eventually. And it was kind of a little bit of an interesting one in that sense, because it was kind of, right, you have an identifiable target. It always seems to be near areas where there's water, or areas where people are caught alone in the dark at late times, where they're usually, and I've been shot in the back. I had that coming. So it was kind of like, right, these are the scenarios and areas. You've also got all the COVID stuff going on, which is also making it a little bit more complex and a little bit more difficult, because you've got social distancing and all the rest of it, where normally in scenarios where trying to get individuals on their own is kind of difficult if you think about it, because of social distancing, people who are going out and maybe going out for a walk because it's late at night sometimes might be on their own. That's not normal behaviour for them, and it's not that they're behaving irrational because of mental illness, and sometimes in some ways it's just because that's new habits they've learned behaving like, because they've been unable to continue the normal habitual behaviour, which is kind of fascinating in that sense. Watching what's happened with COVID is fascinating. It really is fascinating to watch, because you could argue it's a giant social experiment of the modern era, because no point in history you've had a mass pandemic and had the internet and social media and the ability to communicate and talk across the world, and all these other institutes, and like, as well as like the great and lovely. I was gonna throw that in the. Move, I want to throw this at it. Right. I threw that, and it pulled it off my. Have I got some fucking hack software going on here, which is just intentionally taking my zero off target, or am I just like, is my monitor slightly off? Am I slightly off? Let's just move the monitor a bit more to the right. That might help a little. I really do not know what's up with me today. I'm having one of them. I'm having a special day of being special. But because of these, going back to the thing we originally were about, like the Unibomber and all that, because you've got this change in behaviour, opportunities have arrived, which normally wouldn't be available for people to do. You wouldn't normally have the opportunity to take advantage of a situation to find people on their own at night. most of the time people wouldn't be in situations where isolating individuals is as easily as now, because everyone's naturally trying to isolate themselves. Everyone's trying to distance themselves. In the UK, we've had a huge amount of population of the British population using the canals and walking on them, which has opened up a huge range of problems due to the canals might seem safe places, but it was always a problem back before COVID, where people getting drunk would go down the canal, trip, fall in the canal, couldn't get out and drowned because they literally fell in the canal drunk and were in the night time in the dark, couldn't see, got all confused and lost, and ended up basically doing injury to themselves, resulting in death. You can't really put a load of fences all down the canals to kind of stop that. That's why in the UK, if you've not noticed, outside of pubs there's usually rails, gates. So when they come out of a pub and they're drunk and they're tumbling out of a pub, they don't fall into the road and get run over, because a car driver's not going to be looking for a pub diving down the road and see somebody tumbling out of a door and won't be expecting it. So they put railings usually outside of pubs to prevent that from happening. It's such a minor thing people don't realise, but it is a thing that's done for that reason. There's probably other reasons for it, but that's probably one of the main reasons to my knowledge, which is why it's done. But when you kind of get into the aspects of the social opportunities changing and advantages, a lot of, because it's always the kind of cliche. I don't know if it's a cliche as such, but kind of, well, at least from what I've heard, is, oh, they always start on like aminals and work their way up. So they kind of would work like a small child would be like quite cruel to insects, and then work up to then small aminals, and then work up to slightly bigger aminals, then to them eventually be working on like homeless people, then onto their ideal target, because homeless people are usually, that's why you kind of Jack the Ripper going after, oh my god, prostitutes and stuff, because people in those situations in life aren't as identifiably recognizable for being kind of caught when they go missing. If you go and kill, let's say, an office worker, and you kill somebody on the street, people on the street aren't going to be as alarmed if somebody goes missing off the street as they would be if the person, Joe, who was working in management, suddenly wasn't coming into work. People would then start asking questions. And that's why usually that's normally where they start, is with people in them situations, like people with drug addictions and other people in those scenarios, because it provides a very good opportunity for people who are exploiting or utilising the opportunity of a situation to be able to kill an individual without the problematic issue of having to hide or go through all the issues of trying to contrive a way of clearing a potential case. The only thing they have to do is get rid of a body, and even then, at that point of view, sometimes that's not even not necessarily needed in certain scenarios, depending on how it's done. So you kind of got a situation where, with the current climate, with COVID and all the rest of it, it's providing a fucking field day for individuals of that nature to have a fucking feeding frenzy on people, because unlike before, where homeless people, even though you saw them out on the street, there's no one out on the streets. So suddenly, even if they did go missing, there wasn't anyone there to notice them going missing other than other homeless people. And the way the British system works is, if you're homeless, you are, in a sense, not even a person. It's a bit fucked up in the UK, because you really... And yeah, I forgot about that. Bombs on the fucking corpses. I keep forgetting because I'm an idiot. You kind of get into a situation where... Nice. Uh, a situation where he's missing him. Oh, he's missing him. He's missing him. Come on. Yeah, you got that one behind. Alright. Oh, yeah, hit him a few times. Didn't kill him. Oh, we did get him. Where a lot of opportunities arise for those people. Even though I really should keep my mouth shut when it comes to political matters, but I just fucking can't help myself because I find it fascinatingly interested. Ooh, Scar. Ooh, incendiary. Let's put that there. But no, in regard to the current situation, the UK problem we've got at the moment is to do with a lot of the ever-growing failing of funding for the police, which has presented a bit of a problem when you've got a mass pandemic. Your police are already kind of like, well, trying to deal with general crimes is hard enough. Now you got to stop people being muppets going out and being like madly trying to do things, which is just like, right, whatever. But now having to deal with protests as well as the general crime and all that stuff, and it kind of gets to the point where it gets a little bit kind of out of fucking hand in a lot of ways, because they are underfunded, I will admit that, but they are also being kind of abusively used in a way which is not appropriate, which is kind of a little bit of a problem. But because of the current climate, you've got a lot of the police's resources are now being utilised for COVID. They're not being used to deal with crime or other issues. They're going, well, we need to go out and deal with the COVID crisis issue. We need to make sure people aren't doing what they shouldn't be doing, going out and putting fines on people, and etc., 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 rather than dealing with like actual crimes, like let's say robbery. Normal massive problem in the UK is theft. Mass majority of people who do theft get away with it because the British police are unable or lack the resources to actually investigate the mass majority of theft crimes done in the UK, and which then result in theft crimes actually more often than not never getting resolved or dealt with. I've had stuff of mine stolen. I've had damage done to my vehicle because of this, and the only thing that was ever done was given a number and increase of my insurance, negatively punishing the victim for a crime they didn't commit but were unfortunately the victim of. That's the UK. This is where a lot of my problems come from with the police, is that the police don't do policing. They just do kind of anything but policing at the moment, which is a lot of it's to do with, that lighting effect's really weird around my eyes. It more comes into kind of, well, they're trying to do social services. They're dealing with social matters. They're dealing with all the drug crimes. They're dealing with all this. The theft is on the lower part of their agenda, and it's like, yes, theft is the low part of their agenda, and Big Brother's watching. You've got loads of CCTV cameras. The problem with CCTV cameras is that unless they're up to a certain grade of quality, they're not very useful. They don't have microphones, so they can't understand the context of a situation verbally, sound-wise. So there's a lot more going on in that sense. Oh, cool. But in turn, you've got this kind of ever-growing issue, which is that petty crimes in the UK, yeah, I'll go with that one, are not being resolved, and major crimes are overwhelmingly becoming too much for the police to even deal with. So even major crimes aren't being resolved, and the only crimes what have actually been dealt with at the moment are to do with COVID, which is going out and giving people fines for in-social behaviour in regard to COVID. But it's not even that it's in-social behaviour. The police were actively going out and arresting people on Speaker's Corner in London. For people to understand this, Speaker's Corner in London is a place in down in London, which is in a park. It's called the Speaker's Corner because it's where people who have a matter they want to bring up and debate or speak about will go there, and then speak their fucking piece to the public, to whoever's there at the time. It can be somebody can go out there and have a debate with people on range of the matters, from racial matters to religion to politics to just general fucking silly matters. Speakers Corner currently, in regard to matters regarding COVID lockdown, have had the police come out and arrest people going on Speakers Corner and going out and speaking against the current government and the practices which the British government is doing, which is basically saying, well, your lockdown methods aren't working. It's because, look, A, B, and C, the evidence says, look, these things you're doing isn't technically affecting the spread of disease. It's actually just affecting economics, and you are negatively affecting the economics of the UK, and in turn, effectively making the poorest of the communities in Britain even poorer, and negatively affecting economics and crippling small businesses. So, when you've got people going to Speakers Corner saying that and then being arrested for that, when not breaking any actual laws and are technically not doing anything in violation of the law, it starts to turn into, well, are we turning into a state basically a are we turning into a not a militaristic state, but into a state where a bit like fucking North Korea? You know, if you say something the government or the leader doesn't like to be said, you go away for a very long time. We'll put you in a box and you can go away for not saying or doing stuff what they don't agree with. You kind of got to bring a question to that, and a lot of the problem you've got in the UK is the media is controlled by the government and controlled by three monopolising parties who are being paid an awful lot of money by the government to paint a narrative to fit the narrative they want. Really big problem in the UK. And this kind of presents a bit of a problem, because suddenly you've got all these you go on YouTube right now and have a looked up protests against lockdown, not anti-vaccine, not anti-COVID, anti-fucking lockdown. This is not just the UK who's had this problem. Germany, I think France, Poland, loads of fucking states across the especially Europe mainly. America's getting it as well, but America hasn't done lockdown the same as the rest of the world because it's America. You're having these anti-lockdown protests, and the only places you don't find it happening is like as much is like Sweden and places where the government's been very transparent with the matter and has been kind of right on the actual. I didn't mean to. Oh, I didn't want to shoot him. Ah, fuck! Where's my mic? What's my mic? V. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to shoot you. I was trying to shoot the guy who's running up on you then, mate. Fucking hell. Oh, where's my gas mask be? But this is a major problem. But all the governments in the world who are dealing with these matters are dealing with it the same way, which is, other than I think Brazil's way was a bit of an interesting one, the way they dealt with it. But a lot of the governments, and especially like Germany and places like that, they're using water cannons on the civilians. They're using riots against peaceful protesters who are actively being peaceful protesters against lockdown rules. And if you look at a lot of these crowds and a lot of these places, a lot of them are wearing face masks. Not all, don't get me wrong. There are certain places where that isn't happening. But one of the funniest ones was France, where you had all the protesters going down the street. They were all wearing fucking face masks. And then they span over to the fucking cafe next to them where there's all these people on cup of tea. No face masks, all having a brew, sitting in a little fucking, like, cosy little cafe place having a brew. And they're all like, oh, yeah, all tightly packed in front of a side of shop. While a load of the protesters are going down with face masks on. It's like, right, this is a little bit maddening. But because of that, you kind of got this really kind of interesting thing going on. It's a bit of not an anomaly, a strange event, may we say, because you don't expect to see massive in social rioting across the whole of the world, it all over the same fucking matter. It's not like this is a odd fucking scenario where you've just got like one country rioting going, like you could expect that in Britain with the tier system, which is about to go back in, which I am expecting riots in the UK to be getting the. There's a bit more to that than just the fucking COVID blacks in the UK, but you've kind of got this weird thing going on across the world where countries with lots of people, because all these countries are all in the same boat. As my internet just been killed because of what I'm talking about. Hopefully not. But because you've got lots of countries in the same place that the UK is in, which is that they've got a lot of the same scenario, which is that where a government's not been transparent with its people and has actively actively misled the public and has actively done things which has not been very clear or have been very authoritarian with the people, saying, right, you will do this is what we're doing, and not justifying or explaining and being transparent with the public, has resulted in a massive amount of problems within a lot of these countries. And a lot of that comes down to, unlucky. A lot of this comes down to one very simple factor, that you're no longer in a time era where we're back in like the medieval era where kings could go around and say, well, if you don't do what I say, I'll chop your head off. You don't really have that anymore in the Western world. You've kind of got past that point to a certain level of freedom. So when you actively are taking freedoms away from people and then not justifying or explaining that to them, they're going to get a little bit upset with the matter. And that's what we're seeing now, is we're seeing a lot of the world kind of standing up and saying, oi, what the hell you're doing, this ain't on. You're not, what you're doing isn't working, it's just punishing us for a situation we have no control over, and it's not doing anything to help us or benefit us, and you're actively not communicating clearly with the public. You've got people conflicting the opinion, especially in the UK, with the scientists and the actual specialists are all going, what you're doing is conflicting with the evidence and is conflicting with what the professionals who actually know what the fuck to do in these scenarios are saying. And that kind of leads to the scenario you've got now, which is people are going to start turning around and saying, yo, this ain't really on. Oh, sugar. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn that sensitivity. Maybe that's what I need to do, turn on my sensitivity. Maybe that will help. Because maybe that's what I'm doing. Or maybe I'm being too twitchy. My hand's just like... Have I got like floaty mouse or something? No, I've not got a floaty mouse. And then these guys going in there now. You've got a little bit of a problem in that regard. And because you've got a idiot at the helm, it's presented a bit of a problem, which is that when you've got the idiot at the helm doing stupid things and isn't explaining what he's doing. What? Alright, game. You do you, boo. You do you. You be bollocks. You're kind of getting into the matter of... of a situation where you can only take it so far before people will start to get fed up with your idioticness. We kind of saw that in America with Black Lives Right movement, and literally America lighting itself on fucking fire. You've had a president in America who's been in power for 4 years, has actively took away lots of human rights and human equality matters, and has negatively affected America in the negative fashion for, you know, taking it back a good fucking 20, 30 years, even more, possibly even more than that, after them going from somebody who was like Obama. Obama wasn't fucking perfect in any sense of the word. Yeah, I stepped into that, bollocks. It will die from the grenade in a minute. Unless I rackle that grenade. I'd rackle that grenade, then bollocks. He didn't know. Oh, he's kneecapped him. He's kneecapped him. Bloody hell, I mean, how much lead did that guy just take? It was loads. But because of that reason, you kind of get into a situation of you saw in America where you have riots, and it wasn't just like, oh, it was only in a few places in America. Yeah, it was in a few places in America, but you're talking about places the size of fucking Europe, and it wasn't just happening in one state of America. It was happening all loads of areas in America, and it was whenever somebody got fucking killed by the police, it kicked the fuck off. It kicked the fuck off. And the problem was with Trump, he would antagonise the people who were protesting and inflame them more, even though, and you go, oh well, why aren't they doing peaceful protest? Because they did peaceful protest and then got basically told to F off, had the police who they were protesting against actively go out and attack them, and had been actively been kind of aggressively negatively affected by the state. Oh, that was a bad choice. That was a bad choice. Negatively affected by doing the things in the correct manner. You have this in the UK all the time. Peaceful protests don't work in the UK. Look back to the poll tax. Didn't work out very well. What did it take for them to resolve the issue with poll tax? They just renamed it and did what they always do in Britain. It took riots. It took the actual country literally going to fucking 4 days of solid riots and burning down London. Because the way it works in Britain is that the government lives in London, so they don't give a shit if there's riots in Liverpool. They don't give a shit if there's riots in Manchester. But what they do give a shit about is if there's riots in London, because that's where they go to work. That's where they live. You don't fuck around when the place you eat is where you're getting shit, and if you're getting shit where you eat, then there's a problem. And the problem is in the UK, that's London. So everything in the UK is massively. It's a common knowledge, and Southerners don't always realise this. The reason why Northerners hate Southerners is because of that. They feel disenfranchised. They see Londoners, they see the South as all of London. They see more all of the South of England as London. That's not always the case, but they automatically assume if they hear somebody with a Southerner accent, or the Londoners, they're all down on me, or blah blah blah. That massively engaged racism to a heavy degree, which is reinforced through the ever-growing evidence of the state of the UK constantly actively doing things to that wasn't me. Oh, we're getting shot on the back. What a surprise. I got it anyway. I got a few points. But that kind of brings it to the situation, which is what we're in, which is that you've got a massive. It's why if you look at Scotland at the moment, and people go, "Oh, why are the Scots after independence?" Why do you think? I've had this conversation with a lot of Northerners, and it's like they understand that they feel disenfranchised as a Northerner, but their attitude is to the Scots is, "Oh well, shut up, just." You got it better than us. You shut up and go away. You have no right to argue this. When forgetting that if they were in the same situation and if the North could have a divide from southern London and had its own independence, most Northerners would have been going, they'd be up for that. They'd be like, yeah, we can take the power back into the North. We can retake control. We can push the economics and industrialisation in England. We could take control and deal with the issues which we feel need to be dealt with, and that it represents the North, and the North is going to be represented correctly, and the money the North revenue produces will be spent on the North and be reinvested into the northern fucking powerhouses, Manchester and Liverpool, and we can see that money come back to the people who are making it, because a lot of Northerners are still under the belief that the North is the powerhouse of yesteryear. It isn't. It really isn't. And I don't mean to take any all far up the fucking steps of England, but London hasn't got that much power. All their money's in banking, and England banking's kind of is going out the fucking window, and has been doing so for quite a while because it works on the stock market in the whole fucking yuppie fucking mentality. That was all done by Margaret, the witch is dead, as they say. it kind of leads into that kind of yesteryear fucking rose tinted mentality of you don't see the world for what it is. They've eaten into, they're not eaten into, they've kind of got into the mentality of this is how it was, and this it was good in the old days. This was how it used to be, and it was like, yeah, it was better in some ways because you didn't have the same amount of economic wage freeze. You didn't have the same amount of economic problems as you did now because the inflation of life and the cost of living wasn't as high as it was. So yeah, life did seem a lot better because let's start to clear the room off. Oh, there's no one in there. And because of that, you've kind of got this like slightly warped point of view. But you've also got people who like Sturgeon, I think it was, who fed on that point of view and kind of fed into that nationalism and that culture of yesteryear. Yeah, we used to be a great nation. Now we're not a great nation, and blah blah blah, etc. 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 It's a load of fucking bollocks, to be all fair. But that's what people believe, and that's what they like to believe because they've kind of bought into the American ideology, which was, oh, we're a powerful, great nation, and that's something to be proud of, and we need to be proud of who we are as a country, and we must be better than everyone else because, you know, we are the British and all the rest of the bollocks what comes along with that. And it's kind of like it's oh shit. It's kind of sad, to be honest. That's kind of what Britain's become, is this kind of old fool country which has forgotten all the forgotten mistakes of yesteryear. And the reason why this thing's so weak is because I've got a suppressor on it, which doesn't help matters. Because in real life, this thing can use standard rounds as subsonic rounds. It just basically lowers the power on all bullets with the suppressor. I really shouldn't be using the suppressed MP5, but it's like, I like it, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool, but it's like, it's shit. Let's be honest. But it's one of those where it's sad in the sense that it's the same way you have people who are in a situation where they go, oh, I used to be like really fit when I was young. I used to be this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like, well, there's always that little bit of a rose tint of, well, it was good back in the yesteryear. It was always better back in the old days. While forgetting kind of where they are now and kind of taking thanks for what they are currently and trying to make the most of the situation they are in now. It's a very kind of mentality of, woe is the world, there is no fucking solution. Everything used to be best when it was back in the day. It's kind of the wrong approach psychologically. It's like, well, why aren't you looking at like the future and saying, well, we could make the world better? That things weren't perfect back in the past, and yeah, we've kind of gone one way too far, way too much that way. Yeah, we could make... so the MP5 is really not a good gun for this. And like I said, the G3 and stuff like that is fantastic in this game because of the 7.6. So, yeah, I just keep switching back to the game. But no, it's kind of like, rather than thriving to be the best you could be, you think you've already done that, and then you constantly want to go back to that because that's what you think was the best. That was the best version of time. That was the best react. How did I get the most headshots? Probably because I was actually trying. And because of that, you kind of get into a scenario of... a scenario where people are very warped on reality, especially when they start using, like, in America it's like the 1920s and the good old America back in the good old days, and a lot of it's like they're going back to a time period a lot of people weren't actually alive for, which is kind of part of the problem with it, is because of that. And if you're thinking, yeah, yesteryear was great, and all this was amazing back then, but you're forgetting all the shit bits of back then, like most people do. Most people go, oh yeah, our school was great, and then you ask kids in school, oh it's shit. There's a reason for that. You remember all the good bits, but you try to forget the bad bits. You forget all the bits like the homework. You forget all the crappy bits of that. And I'm not saying it wasn't better than it is now, because everything will always look better if something's worse. We get older, we get sorer, we get fucking stiff, we get more cantankerous, we get tired of changing and having to learn more, and etc, etc, etc. And we wish to go back to a simpler time when things didn't have to be as complex or as confusing and blah 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 blah. So of course we want to go back to how it was, but this isn't like they want to go back to like it was in the 80s and 70s. They want to go back beyond that. They want to go even further back. They want to go back to a time period when they weren't around. It's kind of like, right, you do realise that this was not even, you weren't even like around for some of you weren't even born at the time period you kind of want to go back to, and this kind of like reality, you think, oh well, this is kind of the perfect version of reality. We did it before in the past. We need to go back to that. That was when it was best. Was when the economics were great, or when we were the superpower of the world and were the leading nation. It's like, not really. You kind of like let's say like the UK. We go back to like the big industrial British Empire. If you were a general British person, a mass majority of you were working in factories and were no more valuable than a piece of meat to be ground up into a paste to be used to feed the fucking upper classes and the wealth and the rich. There were some social benefits and changes going on as factory owners started doing social experiments, and that was done because of the simple fact that they had that much power and wealth in an area. They owned all the houses, they owned the property. People weren't really seen as people, they were seen more as livestock. They kind of owned you if you worked for them. So you kind of had that problem where if you weren't one of the people with the wealth and the money, you were one of these people who would be, screw you again and your shotgun. You'd be inherently seen as kind of an individual or a person who was more or less a person in a situation to be used as just subservient. You are just a fucking, that aspect. So when you hear people go, oh yeah, we need to get back to workhouses, we need all this, back to the stuff back in the Victorian era. These are people who are saying this, and even people from the Victorian era, because let's be honest, the Victorian era, most people are dead from that era. I do question if they didn't invent some time machines, because there are questionably people who I do question if they are from the Victorian era with the philosophy and mentality and the way they look at people and the mindset. But I think that's partly because you've got old private education systems which are still working on old Victorian philosophy regarding matters to kind of teaching people about, yeah, you didn't get me, sucker. I don't give a shit if I died. I got the objective. That's why I didn't give a shit. Because a lot of it kind of comes down to one very simple factor, which is that if you're teaching people human values based on a Victorian mentality, a Victorian philosophy, you've got a major problem with that. And the major problem is very, very, very simple. Is that you've got this... Somebody wants me dead. Big time. You reckon that guy didn't hit me, thank God. Don't ask me how. Ow. Just check this. Did it fire? Muscles didn't react quick enough. But because of this fact that you've got a... Okay, he's AFK. You've got this problematic issue, which is that Victorians had that philosophy. The wealthy, the people with money and power and ownership of things, were human beings. And if you didn't own or have anything of any value, you were the same as livestock. You weren't even human, you were just meat. This is the kind of justification mentality you had with slaverism. That is like, well, they aren't human. They're less than human. They're just an animal. They're no different to a dog. And you can quite easily argue that, yeah, that is really, really messed up. But the thing is that was, and kind of still is, the philosophy of the people in these situations, and they use it to justify the things they do and act and the way they behave. And it's like 5 extra rounds. No. Use it to justify committing heinous and horrific acts because they don't see what they're doing is wrong, because to them, the people they're doing these things to aren't people. They're just... It's the same way somebody can justify kicking a dog. That sounds horrifically horrible, but to somebody who sees a dog as just... Well, it's just an animal. It's, it's not... They don't even see a living creature as anything more than subservient to their own wishes, that everything is below them other than other human beings who they only see as human beings if they meet a certain standard. It's what we consider a sociopathic mentality, is that an individual who looks at everyone else's value is less than their own. So when you get people with that, oh, unlucky, that mentality, you kind of get into a bit of a problem, which is that how do you get something like that to have moral values and make decisions on matters regarding other people? When you got politicians with that idea, that's when it gets very dangerous. Just because in the UK we have a lot of profiteers, as we'd say, which is individuals who go into politics to basically rob the country of its wealth and give it to their friends and their family members, because they see everyone else as non-valuable. You aren't part of the club. You're not one of us. You're one of them, and them. Well, they're nothing more than subservient creatures to provide me with what I need to make my, blah blah blah. And etc. goes. And you're going back to the Victorian way, because that's what's taught in the education systems, these private schools, which is where if you want to get into politics and become a politician, you have to go to, because the UK's institution has institutionalised politics to the point where only a minority of individuals have the opportunity to be in a position like that, because of the situations presented are only available to those who are only available to people who are in the right place at the right time and know the right people, and those people are only accessible through situations like which are provided from the opportunities in education and situation. So I'm just getting a bit in a barbaroo state here, not focusing what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to get to the point is that Bugger you game. Um, but you've got that problem where these people go into this education system produce them with that mentality. So the little bubble of world is that if they don't know you, you're not worth knowing. So they then basically they become the gatekeepers of opportunity for those career paths into politics. You can get into them, but you have to do a lot of kind of climbing the slimy pole and a load of other stuff, which is kind of a long and battery babbling mess of trying to understand the bureaucratic system of the UK, and it kind of gets a little bit difficult to talk about because of that aspect and the mentality. But because you've got this kind of gatekeeper mentality towards the accessibility to the politics in the UK, you get this kind of warped point of view of the people in the position to get that power, because it's no longer the power is accessible. Because in America you have the same problem where if you've got the money you can go and do the campaign, you can do all this, that opportunities mainly accessible for people with the money and the resources to go into politics. And if you haven't, then you ain't going to get to go and do politics. It's as simple as that. So working hard and all the rest of it is kind of painted as this, oh well, if you work hard you can get into politics in America, and the reality is no, you can't. A lot of it's kind of the American dream, which is basically the ever going, the greatest fucking con on earth, which is that if you work hard, oh bollocks, I was lying down prone, piss off game. If you work hard, you'll be able to make, you'll make your money and you make your worth. That presents a bit of a fucking problem. And this kind of results in a kind of not the reality in America. America, if you've got money, you've got a massive upper hand. Look at Mr. fucking Donald himself. The guy, everyone goes, oh, he's a great businessman. No, who was a great businessman was his father, who actually had money. Donald Trump, as a businessman, is not actually a very good businessman. I think he's filed for fucking tax, basically financial ruin about 3 or 4 times in his fucking career, let alone. Yes, he has a lot of money, but he's inherited a lot of that wealth. And the way it works is if you have a set amount of money, you get to a certain point where no matter how hard... Shoot the one in the driver's seat, William. Apparently foul, can't shoot for a fucking windscreen. That's a new one. But that presents a little bit of a problem, because suddenly you've got this situation of where you can't... Is he still alive in that vehicle? Can't be. No. No, I'm not getting on that. That's suicide. But you've got this scenario where if you are gaining so much wealth, you start to just accumulate wealth slowly, because you've got your money tied into businesses, banks, shares, and those naturally accumulate money. But because the amount of money you're growing by is enormously larger than the amount of money you can technically spend, you can realistically make money by just simply doing nothing, because your money's naturally growing. So over time you grow, the inflation of your money is greater than it's at such a great rate. You don't really have to fucking try. You've got to the point where you can literally fuck about with your money and make investments and make poor investments, and the negative effects, as long as you've got that solid foundation of good investments, what are actively making you a profit at a high enough rate that it's naturally accumulating you a greater profit than what you can burn, you are sitting kind of pretty. Oh, fucking up. there goes my first tank's power head. Splitting on. Ooh, not good, not good, not good, not good. I'm going to put a 3-round burst into that guy. Right here, we are in a tight situation. I might actually end this stream shortly enough. I've bored somebody to tears, I think. Oh no. But no, in regard to kind of the... Oh, bloody hell. What do you mean front door? Around there. Not too worried about it. Me, my ever-going politician matters. Me, oh, you're talking about heavy subject matters. Why are you talking about heavy subject matters? Just want like harder conversation. Can't do like harder conversation. It's not one of my greatest cups of tea ability. So yeah. Oh no, bad choices were made to get in here. Well, that was an interesting death. Let's just switch this out again. I mean, I'm enjoying the AKUE, but I kind of want to mix it up with a bit of G3. No, we're not running G3. We'll run G36. Why not? Because everyone goes, oh, it's crap with G36. Get rid of that on that. It's Browning. Holographic on the. But no, we kind of had a really weird conversation so far in this stream. Babbling to myself. My head is now mucified again. It's like, yeah, mucus. I don't like to. But I need to get some practicing on Insurgency big time, because doing versus has kind of shown me how really bad of a player I've become. But that's to be understandable since I haven't played this for fucking ages, at least on the versus side. Yeah. It's kind of where you want chill music just to play and just chillax for a little bit, as I said. Oh, buggers. It does make me feel slightly better when I see other players playing this and I see them as bad as me, and I kind of don't feel as bad then, because it's like, yeah, I'm no Call of Duty quick no scoping like laser sight fucking swine. I'm just a really bad shooter. I might actually try to stream Call of Duty, but I don't think that'd go really well with me, because I'd probably play about 2 matches, get really pissed off, and just be like ranting like an ass all the way through. Which is why I stopped playing the verses on this, was because I was getting annoyed. To the point where it was like, right, I'm not enjoying this, I'm just getting angry. Ooh, that good. Ooh. I may go and have myself something to eat shortly after this. I think I might have another lasagna. I had a lasagna yesterday though. With chips, but the problem was I cooked my chips in the top oven, and it made the chips taste like real rank. And then the lasagna didn't cook correctly. It just all kind of fell apart. But I was cooking when someone else was cooking, so I had not full control of the cooking technique of what was going on, so it kind of bulged it up. So yeah. I've cooked enough of the lasagnas with chips that I know, yeah, they normally taste really nice, so I don't think it was me who cocked that up. I think other factors came into play and kind of cocked it all up. But hey ho. But now that's my nathering for today. It's not really much more going on. Oh, we've got one guy left. Oh, not good, not good, not good. Oh, I am so glad I am getting paid on this week. But the annoying thing is I've not had my pay slip because I've not been in work because I've had this week off of work. So it's like, yay, sugar. I don't get to find out how much money I've been paid. And I did overtime, so I kind of going to go, did you pay me for my overtime? They should have done. They're usually quite good when it comes to paying me for my overtime. But it's one of those things which is, you never know when somebody will cock up in the accountant's office and paperwork hasn't been filled out correctly and money owed or due hasn't been given. That to me, it may not seem like a big deal, but I take it as a kind of like, right, you're not. Might blow it up. That's usually not there. I will nick it and use it against you. Am I getting shot here? Oh no! He got shot though. He's gonna drop a grenade. And my head just got blown off through being shot by somebody who shot me through a wall. Whatever they are. That is something interesting I will bring up. I was watching, I think it's Forgotten Weapons TV on YouTube. If you're into guns and you're a fucking gun nut, fuck me. I would recommend them. They do really good, interesting fucking information and reviews. Not so much reviews, but they break down weapons in a really interesting mannerism, which you don't get too kind of heavy deep into stuff, but they do enough kind of information that it's if you're someone like me who lives in Britain, getting your hands on a firearm is really difficult. So you don't really get that kind of culture like you do in America, where I'll go to Walmart and pick myself up an AR. Yeah, it's the UK. Yeah, they're a little bit problematic. So it getting to learn about firearms and all that information is not something what's very ready available to most folks. So if you want to learn about them, you kind of got to look it up and etc. But a bit off there. He was doing on Forgotten Weapons the case court, which was regarding the G36, which is why I'm currently using it, which was really interesting because it was in regard to the matter. It was about maybe a year to 2 years, maybe. He said 2012 was when it was brought up, but I heard about it I think I heard about it way later than 2012. It was like 2017, 18 maybe. When I heard about the matter with the G36, which was that bollocks. Which was in regard to the G36 is not so much reliability, but what the argument was that the G36 was inaccurate due to heat causing the gun to become inaccurate due to it being lying in the sun. That caused inaccurate on the weapon, and this caused the guns to become problematic for accuracy, as well as there was accuracy issues in regard to when German soldiers, specifically German soldiers, were in firefights. As I said, if you want to find out a lot more about this, Forgotten Weapons goes into great detail about it, and he explains it in a much better manner than I will be able to, because I will be babbly a bit all over the shop. But it was really interesting because it was kind of going on about the bureaucraticness of it all, and it's not a 2 hour fucking thing. It is a reasonably short fucking video. It's not like you're going to be sitting there going, oh fucking bullshit, less of this. But it was kind of, to a degree, very very affordable in regard to the matter, and it kind of I had it here said to me and not really given to me in a cold kind of logical matter brought up. It was kind of the standard kind of brought up in conversation lightly, not really good, not really a lot of detail to it, and not really kind of explained or talked to me about it in a mannerism, understanding that from somebody who hasn't got hand-on experience or in a position which would allow them to have a very good knowledge of this thing in a more practical sense. Like, for example, if somebody goes on about the M16 and the reliability, but doesn't understand how the gun works or why it was happening and all the other stuff what was going on, wouldn't have a good understanding of why. Oh, am I going to just magically go back in your gun? Whatever, game. The problems in regard to that matter, and it's kind of kind of an interesting thing when you do get that information. I am babbling like an idiot today. I'm having a special day with my brain being very soft. I'm having smooth brain day today. But no, it's really kind of useful to have that information given in that way. He does actually do the M16 as well, which is why the M16 reliability issue isn't because it was a crap gun. The big problem was it had crap ammo. That's your MC. This is what I hate about the M4 and M16 so much. It's a really good gun. It's so good that I really, really want to hate it, but I know it's too good to hate, and I'm like, I hate it because it is too good. It's like bastards. And a lot of the problem with the M16, there are problems with the M16 M4. Don't get me wrong, that it's not super perfect, but it has its faults. But generally speaking about it as a rifle, it is a fantastic weapon. The issue what happened in Vietnam wasn't because it was a badly engineered rifle, but because it was so well made and made with very high tolerances. It presented problems when you introduce a military factor of militaries don't really have consistency in regard to certain matters. And what I mean by this is the military can't always promise that the ammo you're going to give a gun is going to be the same grade and quality every time. And because of that, it opened up a problem when you have a gun which is very refined and very fucking finicky about what ammo it can take, and then introduce squaddies into it who are slightly problematic to make sure they do reliable maintenance on the weapon. A lot of squaddies will do, but the American Army pretty much go on the kind of, we'll take everyone and just try to make them work, rather than like the British ideology, which is we'll only take a minority of people because we don't want everyone in the army. We want people who are best suited to do the actual what we're after them doing, and that kind of reflects in the way in which the rifles are used and maintained. The British rifle is appalling. Apparently the A3 is a lot better, but the A1 was very appalling because it was poorly engineered, and it's still to this day not very good because of the way it was engineered. It has been fixed to make it acceptably a good rifle, but there are plenty of rifles out there which I argue black and white are superior rifles. I'm pretty sure the S80 is only used by the British. I don't think any other country in the world looked at that gun and went, yeah, that seems like a good idea to adopt that. I think most of them looked at that and went, no, thanks. You got it right with the Lee Enfield. But even then, it's like the Lee Enfield. We were using the Enfield like when all the other countries in the world were like, yeah, we use semi-automatic rifles. It's the British. We just like, we'll give ourselves a handicap for whatever we use. It's like, yeah, no joke. Stop doing it. But yeah, there's me being my my British fucking nationalism, which is near enough fucking white nationalism, to be honest, in some ways. That's just the biases of British people. You kind of... Oh, shall I guess... Stop it. He's going through there. I'm gonna... Took his leg off. I'm not going in this way, I know that much. Right, my friend is not to get me get shot in the back here, which is the worst possible thing I could ever do is rely on teammates to do the one basic thing of cover a staircase. Yeah, that's what I expected. Why did I expect any different from the scenario happening? Ooh, Marksman. Marksman's available. I also want to run the Dragonoff because we haven't run the Dragonoff. But you kind of got this situation of what am I babbling about now? My brain is just completely not fudged. Completely lost of conversation of where I was. We're not going into the subject matter of nationalism. I really already gone in enough detail regarding that matter. But no, the British have a really fucking weird thing with their army, which is like they used the Enfield for fucking ages. Like, they didn't upgrade to a semi-automatic rifle, even through the fucking Great War. They were still like, eh. And then when it came to like, oh shit, sorry about that, SMGs, they still yet again, they were like, nah. And it was only like once they kind of got stirred in the face with like, yo, you really should get these SMGs. And they were buying fucking like Tommies off the Yanks for like stupid money. And it was like, it's only like on in like the war they were kind of going, yeah, we need some SMGs shit, and we developed on it. No, and hey, presto, the fucking the British Stal was made, which was kind of it works. It works. That's the best I can really say about that weapon. Is it's very simple. It works, but a lot of the MP40 was a little bit nicer of a weapon. But generally speaking, the like most things, just because it works doesn't mean it's good. It fit the fucking purpose and the need of what they had at the time and what they needed, but it kind of showed the problem what the British, especially the British military had, which was a overconfidence in the sense that they kind of looked at a lot of the things in regard to Britain as, well, we don't really need these things clearly because we have this big empire. We've never really needed these kind of these improvements in technological advantages. So they never really improved them until they kind of came across the Great War, which kind of forced them into doing it. Where countries like Germany and that were developing these stuff before the Great War and were preparing for a fucking arms race and a war race. And the British are still to this day having that slight issue. And I'm not kind of pro, yeah, we need good military and you spend loads of money in military. But if you look at like Russia, they're still developing, same as America, are still developing firearms and developing technology in case of another war. So they have the best stick, the biggest fucking stick, and the best stick to hit you with, because that's the way they kind of learnt that with World War II with the Germans and like the tactics, but the technology gave them a massive advantage and presented a problem. And throughout history, that's been the case. The person with the biggest and nastiest looking fucking sticks, usually the one who wins. The ones with the best tactics and the best blah 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 are usually the victors in these situations. Not always, don't get me wrong, but technology does make a massive difference in the realms of a battlefield. And if you've got a situation, oh shit, put 2 in a red. If you're in a situation where you're going up against ow, right below me, perfect angle, biters. Which is why you see nations developing firearms and developing weapons. A lot of this now is not done so much by the military, especially like German uses Hancock, H&K's fucking to produce their weapons and manufacture them. And it's kind of a private entity away from the German government, quite clearly, rather than being in a sense, an element of the actual government, which, you know, let's go with a bolt action. Why not? No, what's a 4x scale? Oh yes. Grease bolt. Why not? Flash shadow. What's that do to it? Oh no. Oh no. We'll keep this old school. Yeah, they're still really good. But you kind of got to look at it from the point of view of weapon development. I think the Americans and the Russians, I think, at least their countries are doing the weapon development, not so much private industry. But it's kind of left in the hands of private industry to develop weapons. The problem is, these companies, it costs a lot of money to develop a weapon. It massively costs a lot of money. If you look at, if you want to look into kind of weapon development costs, look at this American guy who's the AK guy in America, which I can't remember his fucking name of his channel off the top of my head. He's trying to develop a fucking 50 BMG AK, and he's kind of, oh, bad day for you. He's kind of learning kind of the unexpected cost of developing a weapon, and he's not like developing a weapon completely from scratch. He is developing a weapon from scratch in the sense that it hasn't been done before, but he's able to gather resource and information and have access to AKs and other fucking technology which already come about. So he's able to utilize this technology and this information to understand limitations of what he needs to do. The problem he has is that he's having to learn how to modify these systems that are already in play to technically use a caliber around what they would never invented to fucking use. So he's having to figure out the appropriate density of steel, correct fucking shear, and all these other fucking factors, because the tolerances and fucking factors he's actually putting on the weapon are so much more immensely huger than what they were. He's kind of putting the weapon into a situation where the thing was only ever invented to be used with 7.62 at the most. And 308 was kind of not the biggest round. Oh, fucking hell. Was kind of the standard full-size caliber round of the time era of the AKM, which was the 1947s after the Great War. When you talking about the AK-47 before stamped steel was came about, and that was when they were doing CNCing. Oh, bad day for these guys. So 308 rounds were kind of the default full-size round. So they were going to invent a rifle. That would be the kind of round you'd look at going, well, that's the kind of, if we're going to design a round, that's going to be probably where we're going to go and look at as kind of the maximum size caliber we're going to use for our weapon, because anything more than that would be a little bit over the fucking top and over necessary than what they needed. So you kind of get into this situation where, oh, somebody running the grease gun. Oh, look at that weld. Oh, grease gun. Oh. I don't like the grease gun. I can't do that. You've got this kind of, oh bloody hell, situation where I'm fucking losing track of what I'm fucking talking about a lot today. I really am having one of them days. Trying to think what I was talking about now. Shit. Completely gone fucking blank now. Talking nonsense at my arse, and my arse is right out of fucking farts to tell me what I'm thinking. Oh, that's a bad choice. Oh, yawn. I need that yawn. I know talking about guns, I just can't think of what I'm fucking saying now. My head's got, oh, the AK and 50 BMG development and costs. Yeah, I finally got back to where my brain was. But But because of that, even when you look at the CNC AK-47, it was never invented for a fucking 50 BMG round because it was like, wait a minute, this fucking round's way too big, especially for a fucking rifle. And the Russians were kind of trying to make an upsized fucking submachine gun. So you kind of get this problem of, well, they were never trying to design a... God damn, my guy's arms are like fucking stable as all hell. I love it. I did my part. I don't want to do anymore. But because of that, you kind of, when you look at like when he's developing the 50 BMG AK, he's having to learn. He's trying to work out how to make all these components work with excruciatingly large and AI. It's smoke. Piss off. Won't even ask. They're still trying to clear that building, aren't they? Trying their hardest. He's having to deal with the situations what are presented by the limitations of the lack of technology. 50 BMG is not a common round to be made in anything, and whenever you do see 50 BMG being used, what I'm talking about is 50 BMG, meaning like the one you see in the sniper rifle. There are different versions of 50 BMG. You do have pistols what use 50 BMG because it kind of comes down to grain. You have grain as well as size of round, and 50 BMG sometimes is more referring to the grain than the actual round, which is why it gets a little bit confusing when you're talking. Oh shit, when you're talking about 50 BMG, because I think it's the Desert Eagles kind of considered a 50 as well. It's really fucking weird because you get like 50 BMG in pistol format, and it's really weird. But what I'm referring to is I'm using that. I should have made that clear when I was talking about this. When I was talking about it's 50 BMG. That's why I said it's really he's kind of in a difficult situation where he's trying to develop a bullet which is kind of for a gun which was never intended to use that kind of bullet, so it kind of presents a bit of a problem. Causes kind of a bit of a problem. So he's kind of what he has to do is basically try to make the gun. So then he has to pay for all the materials to manufacture the gun, to then assemble the gun, and then test it by shooting it till it breaks. So that costs him the ammunition, it costs him the gun, and it costs him the resources to make that gun. Then he has to do that again every time he wants to make a prototype or he wants to stress test a component on the gun, and he has to stress test the gun to a certain degree because he can't have it and go, well, oh yeah, it's shot 10 rounds, yeah, that's fine, and it only takes one more extra bullet and the gun will stop fucking working, and suddenly the whole gun's receiver just fucking explodes on you and it becomes compromised. So he's having to learn that issue. So when you kind of talk about the this is all going back to Britain and its unwillingness to develop firearms. Which is understandable if you weren't planning on having war and fighting every sod on earth. But to be honest, the British are a little bit of a fucking scrappy lot. Ow. It's kind of a bit compromising to the British way of thinking, in a sense. Let myself on fire. Nice. Yeah, that's a nice word to die. So you kind of got this problematic issue in the UK, which is Britain doesn't make weapons anymore. I don't think we manufacture bombs. We have a British Aerospace for that. They like making bombs. And we do produce other, like, Harriers and certain other fucking things. We do still produce, like, certain things of war, but as rifles go, we're not really producing those anymore. But Britain never really did develop a lot of rifles. What Britain had a lot of, like the Lee Enfield and stuff, a lot of the British weapons we actually made in Britain weren't actually British weapons. They were other countries' weapons. We'd take them and then modify them and alter them in regard to the necessary requirements we had. The FAL's one of the most recognisable for that, because we changed it from a fully automatic rifle to a semi-automatic rifle and made massive alterations to it to be more reliable for desert environments. And on top of that, we also made alterations to the optics and other little minor changes, which really interesting is when you find out about I won't go near that doorway. It's about to blow up a few times over, because the guy, he survives, he's fine. Me, I get blown up because I got the kill. Screw you, Gabe. But that's been oh shit, nearly shot him. Nearly shot him, I missed, thankfully. That's kind of the British way of fucking thinking, which is the modified alter guns. We kind of got rid of the people who were doing that and kind of walked away from that philosophy. And it kind of shows, especially with the S80, which was kind of like, right, we'll make a British-made rifle. And then the contract got given to the people who could do it the cheapest, and the people who did it cheapest weren't even a gun manufacturer, and it kind of showed because he produced a rifle which was mind-bogglingly crap, and yet somehow was being used by the British fucking the actual British Army, which was like they got rid of the FAL for this gun, which was massively unreliable, to use 5.56 to meet the actual needs of what you call it. Ow, my eyes. Swines. The requirements of... Oh! That's just evil, game. That is just fucking evil. Gotta watch that on the fucking live stream back. It's just like, it's fucking spawning and it's like bouncing fucking Betty Get Aiden for a minute. I'm like, oh, you swine. You real nasty swine. But because of that, you've kind of got this... issue in the UK that they produced a weapon which wasn't even functionally effective and gave a shitload of money to somebody to produce something which didn't even do what it's meant to do on the fucking can. When, you know, technically available, you could use a fucking AK which was more practically usable as a weapon than the S80 was, and you go, oh no, it's not as accurate, it wasn't using 5.56 and etc. No, it wasn't, but the platform, the engineering, the technology behind it was far more simple and better to be used. Yeah, it was inaccurate, but inaccuracy's not that much of a bad compromise if you get reliability. And the big thing with the AK is it doesn't have carbon build-up issues, the same as the AR, so it's not fussy about ammunition. You can pretty much, you'll feed that thing whatever you want, it'll fucking eat it, and it'll be quite merrily eat. It'll quite merrily eat whatever you give it, because it's like, yeah, whatever, I'll eat that. It's perfectly happy to take whatever ammunition you'll give it, within a certain tolerance. If you start giving it acid-based rounds which start eating and corroding the barrel away, the gun might just disintegrate in your hands. Have we? I was looking at my phone at the time. Let's burn that doorway for a little bit, give himself a little bit of momentarily that I don't have to deal with grenades. But no, because you don't have to deal with... because they had to change the FAL. The FAL was what they were using. The FAL was a fantastic rifle. They changed it due to a lot of political fucking jargon with the 5.56 and NATO. I would argue that the FAL is, even though it's a dated rifle to today's standard, could be quite easily converted and made into effectively a functioning, up-to-date modern modern rifle quite easily to meet the British Army's standards. It's still used in places like Africa as a parafoul, which is the shot and barreled folding steel stock version of the actual foul, where they've got rid of a lot of the components. The only problem with the foul is it's a very heavy gun and doesn't have a lot of polymer, it's a lot of metal on it. You could probably take the foul and alter the design enough that you have less metal components and make it even less metal, or you could try to probably change some of the aspects of it so you're not using as much steel, so you can use aluminium like the AR series do. Oh, that's not very good. And that's really not good for me because I've pushed my building from the other side, aren't they? Yep. Oh, thank God they didn't. But no, I was kind of interested listening to the conversation about bullputs, and the thing is, they go, oh yeah, bullputs are crap. The shit, they got shit triggers, they got shit fucking reliability issues, they got blah 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 blah, and I can't really argue with them. Bullputs are a massive rifle with a shitload of compromises, which generally don't benefit the end user. In regard to, in comparison to more like standardized rifles like the M4 and etc. And these factors kind of show themselves in. Let me just do this, customize 750. 750? Yeah, we not got enough. No, so let's just do not that. Yeah, that's what we'll be. Man of grey, just be grey coloured. Actually, can I get? Have I actually got a top which is like a long sleeve t-shirt? Yeah, that's the only one I've got long sleeved, and I've only got that colour in it, which is no. Yeah, let's just wear that then. Bugger it. Do like that. Does look pretty sweeter than the other ones. I was going to get a half mask for him. I'm just going to do that for now. Yeah, play that. Eyewear. We get rid of the eyewear because why not? Don't need it on anymore. Not for what I'm doing with the guy. Put fingerless ones on because I always like the fingerless ones. But no, you kind of got into this situation of to sum up what I'm fucking thinking about. It's worth listening to the debate on it because they're talking a lot of it from a aspect of an individual, from a person who wants to buy it to shoot it on a range, and not so much from a military standpoint of what the military is looking at. And a lot of what they brought up was fair enough, yeah. Argumentatively, they are in the correct that a lot of the problems with the bullputs, a lot of it's kind of to do with reliability and effectiveness in the field of making sure the weapon's functionally effective and is going to work. And that I can see where their argument is there. I can see where they argue it. It's like they don't like the AUG because it fails the mud test because it just basically the whole fucking system on the gun fucks up. But the thing is, the AUG as it clearly has effective working base that the Australians have made their own version of the bloody thing to continue using. So the AUG is clearly not disliked as much as you can hate a bullpup. Clearly they're not horrifically bad weapons. They're being used to the modern day and are effectively still being used in all sorts of militaries around the world and still being developed. So as much as it's a novelty idea, the bullpup, clearly there's some element of the bullpup which is why they keep developing them and they're still trying to make them and trying to refine them to be as effective and as good as they could be to meet the requirements. As they did say in that, the best way to describe weapon development is a constant compromise of other factors to make a rifle. You have to compromise on certain factors to meet other requirements. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I'm babbling too much and I've had enough. And I'm pretty sure anyone who's listening to this is probably fed up with my voice at this point. But anyway, thank you for watching. That's me done for this stream. I'm probably going to go and jump on squad probably for half an hour to an hour if I want to play it, which I probably ain't. But I don't know if what I'm going to spawn. What I'm going to stream tomorrow. I think Epic Games were trying to, at least I thought Epic Games was releasing Mud Runners, and I was going to probably do a stream of that because Mud Runners is kind of not a high-paced game, but it's one of those games you can kind of chill. I was going to do Elite Dangerous as well. I've kind of been a bit fuzzy all over the shop and doing Squad instead because that's what I want to play. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm babbling again. I'm not even going to tell you when I start streaming because I'm me and I'm just like